There's a sentence circulating right now that has completely split the XR community in half. And that sentence is, do not sell your XRP coins or you will regret it. You've probably seen it by now already online. You've probably seen it on TikTok. You've probably seen it on YouTube. You've probably seen it on Twitter. And you've almost certainly seen it inside trading groups like Telegram and WAP and Discord servers. Some people are calling it hopium. Others are calling it a warning. And some are just tired of hearing anything bullish at all. So today, I want to slow this conversation right down because this isn't really about the XRP price. It's about timing, it's about psychology, and it's about how people behave when markets stop rewarding patience. We're going to look at why this message is appearing right now in such volume across social media. We're going to talk about why emotions are running so high around XRP specifically, and why personally I agree that this is not the time to panic sell XRP, especially during a period of extreme fear. This is not hype. This is not a prediction. This is about understanding where we are in the cycle. So let's get into it.
I am not a financial advisor. This video is based solely on my opinion on what I'm personally doing in this market. I also want to let you know that some of the links below and in the descriptions are affiliate links, meaning I may get a commission, but it will be at no extra cost to you. Please remember that under no circumstances will I ever contact you and ask you for investments. You can confirm all of my real social media handles in the description and also at milkshakematty.com. This content is for educational and entertainment only, and I'm not a financial advisor.
Messages like don't sell never appear during euphoria. They don't show up when charts are vertical. They don't show up when everybody's feeling smart. And they don't show up when profits feel easy. They appear when people are tired. And right now, XRP holders are tired. Price has gone sideways for a long time. Every rally feels capped and every dip feels uncomfortable. And the longer nothing happens, the louder the internal doubts are starting to get. This is one of the most dangerous emotional environments in the markets. Not because it's dramatic, but because it feels reasonable. People don't panic sell in boredom the way they panic sell in crashes. They try to justify it in their mind instead. They tell themselves, I'll buy back lower. There are better opportunities. Nothing is happening anyway. And sometimes those decisions work. But historically, the worst exits don't happen during crashes. They happen during emotional exhaustion. XRP is not like most crypto assets. Bitcoin rewards patience with visible 4-year cycles. Ethereum rewards patience with narrative rotations and ecosystem growth. But XRP is going to reward patience with silence. And that, for most people, is going to feel uncomfortable. There are long stretches where nothing seems to happen. Development doesn't get hyped and announcements don't immediately move price. And momentum traders lose interest. But that silence is also why XRP remains misunderstood. XRP has always been positioned closer to financial infrastructure than a speculative technology. And infrastructure behaves differently. It doesn't move fast. It doesn't care about retail timelines. And it doesn't reward emotional decision making. It rewards time. Now let's talk about the article that sparked this whole conversation. I found it on NEWSBTC, and the article, which has been circulating also on TradingView, is being misread on both sides of the argument. It does not say XRP is guaranteed to explode. It doesn't say that XRP can't go lower, and it doesn't say that selling is always wrong. Instead, it focuses on structural evolution. The article highlights growing discussion around XRP being used beyond simple payments. This potential use of XRP within lending and collateral frameworks, and XRP evolving into a utility asset, not just a speculative one. And that matters because speculative assets live and die by hype cycles. Utility assets live and die by adoption curves. And adoption curves are slow. They're boring and they will test people's patience. But once they gain traction, they tend to be durable. When people hear don't sell, they assume it's ideological, like it means never take profits, never rebalance, never change your mind. And that's not what's being said here. What's being said is this: selling during emotional exhaustion is rarely the perfect thing to do. History is full of examples of this. People sold Bitcoin because it wasn't doing anything. People sold Ethereum because it felt expensive and slow. And people sold XRP at cycle lows because it felt forgotten. Every one of those decisions felt logical at the time. Markets don't punish bad logic. They punish bad timing. Let me be very clear. This is not financial advice. This is just my personal opinion. I'm not a financial advisor. But I am not selling my XRP here. And that doesn't come from blind belief. It comes from pattern recognition. This does not feel like euphoria or distribution or late cycle access. It feels like patience is being tested. And historically, the phases that test patience the most are often the ones that matter later. Could XRP go lower? Yes, of course it could. Could volatility continue? Absolutely it could. And in fact, I think it will. But when I look at improving regulatory clarity, ongoing institutional conversations, and infrastructure quietly forming, retail sentiment becomes deeply fatigued. That combination does not scream panic sell. It signals transition. Fear changes how people process information. Price becomes the only signal for some people, and time feels like the enemy. And conviction starts to turn into impatience. But fundamentals don't disappear just because price stalls. In fact, fundamentals matter most when the hype has gone. XRP today is more regulated than previous cycles. It's better understood institutionally, and more integrated long-term financial discussions are already happening. Markets don't reward that immediately. They reward it eventually. This is a waiting game. This distinction matters. If you're a short-term trader, your job is different. You trade volatility, you respect stops, and you rotate capital quickly. That's valid. But if you're a long-term holder, panic selling because you're uncomfortable is not a strategy. That is emotion. Long-term investing is uncomfortable by design. If it felt easy, everybody would do it. The discomfort is the filter that weeds out most people. Instead of selling XRP into fear, I'm doing two things. First, I'm holding my long-term position with a clear plan. And second, I'm using separate capital to trade volatility. And that separation matters because mixing long-term conviction with short-term emotion is how people self-sabotage. And this is where BloFin fits into my approach. There's going to be a quick pause here because this is genuinely relevant to what a lot of people are doing right now. BloFin have just launched a brand new exclusive reward campaign, and it's available to anybody who has already signed up using my link and anybody new who signs up right now. The campaign runs from December 27th through to January the 10th. And across this promotion, there is up to $100,000 in bonuses available. I want to be very clear. This is not a promise of profit. This is not free money, and it does not replace proper risk management. But what it does mean is that if you're already trading during this volatile period, you're doing it on a platform that actively offers incentives rather than simply charging fees. And I've managed to get this deal, especially for my audience, both here on YouTube and also in my private community in the Wolfpack. If you're trading anyway, it makes sense to trade where there are additional benefits available rather than just ignoring them. As always, trade responsibly, manage your risk, never trade money you can't afford to lose, and you'll find the BloFin link in the description of this video if you want to take a look. And while we're here, I also want to remind you of something important. If you're newer to crypto or you feel like emotions are still controlling your decisions, I've put together a 100% free crypto liftoff course. The course walks you through market cycles, risk management, position sizing, and emotional controls. And it's the exact principles that I've used across multiple bull and bear markets to make money over the years. There's no upsells during this. It's completely free. You can sign up by visiting cryptowolfpack.co.uk or by clicking the link in the description. If nothing else, it might help you avoid the mistakes most people make during periods exactly like this. Moments like this don't feel important while you're inside them. They feel boring, they feel frustrating, and they feel like nothing is happening. But when you zoom out, these are the moments that matter the most. This is when weak hands get shook out, they disappear, they sell, they panic, and strong hands accumulate quietly. Narratives shift under this exact kind of scenario. XRP doesn't need hype to succeed. It needs clarity, infrastructure, and time. And those things are built slowly, not loudly. One of the hardest lessons to teach in crypto is this. Fear is not a signal. Fear is a condition. It tells you how people feel, not what will happen next. Peak fear often arrives before clarity, not after it. You don't need to be bullish every day. You don't need to defend XRP online. You don't need to convince anybody anything. You just need to avoid making permanent decisions based on temporary emotions. So will everyone regret selling XRP? No. Some people will sell, move on, and never look back, and that's absolutely fine. But historically, the people who regret selling are the ones who sold because nothing was happening, sold during emotional exhaustion, and sold before narrative shifted. And that's why I agree with the core message. This is not the time to panic sell your XRP. Hold with a plan, trade with discipline, and stay emotionally neutral, because markets don't reward emotion, they reward patience. If this helped you, then please like the video and subscribe to the channel. And drop me a comment and tell me, are you holding XRP through this, or are you trading the volatility? Or are you going to sell it and get out because you've had enough? If you want to check out BloFin and the current campaign, the link is in the description. And if you want to level up your understanding, then don't forget the free crypto liftoff course that I designed. It gives you the exact structure that I've used in multiple bear markets and bull markets to make money. There's also a link in the description for that. And if you want to be part of the community that breaks it down in real time, you also know where the wolf pack is. There's a link in the description. I'll be seeing you on the next one. Thank you very much for making it all the way to the end of this video. And always remember this: the strength of the wolf is in the pack.